it's Molls. So to make this a quick intro, I deleted the other one on accident, so I wanted to film one for you because I think you all deserve one. So this video is going to be about the time that I went to an insane asylum with some friends, 2 different times. I give you some history on like the area that we went to, so you kind of expect what happens, I guess. And I also wanted to kick off a series that's coming to my channel called Molls and Company. Maybe I'll do something special here. And pretty much it's just whenever I feel like sitting down with my cup of coffee or whatever I have as a beverage and just talk to you guys, do Q&As and advice and story times like this video and tags and things along the lines of that. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. This is the first installment. I'm so excited. So along with the excitement of this developing and stuff, and I'm starting it early even though I don't have a huge amount of subscribers or anything, I think you all mean so much to me that watch my videos that I wanted to throw something out there while, you know, I'm still growing, and I wanted to throw something different onto my channel as well. Lots of throwing, and hopefully you guys will just enjoy this. And to the new viewers, you're welcome to subscribe. It's free, and I would welcome you. I welcome you all. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into this video. It is an insane asylum, and it's in a pretty haunted part of our state, and we have lots of occurrences in this area. So I'm going to talk about the history of these buildings. They're actually called cottages. There's cottage number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think there might be 6, but I can't remember exactly, but it's in a circle, and I remember like kind of like the map online of what it looks like, and some of the buildings are very large alongside the cottages. A lot of those buildings are actually used for office space and for I think there's a teen rehab center. Otherwise there's the cottages, and those are vacant and they're not being used for anything. And actually cottage number 5 is gated in the front steps, so you, I mean obviously you could climb over it, but I don't know why you would, because all the cottages look the same, and probably cottage number 5 is like the nicest one left, because the other ones, they don't have vandalism because they have security around the premises. A lot of them are boarded up, like the windows and such, so yeah, I just think they probably want to keep one of the cottages nicer. I'm not sure why, but I did do this lookup a really long time ago now, so I can't exactly remember everything word for word. I think it was either men that were first brought into these buildings that were the mentally insane, and it was just men, and then they brought in women and children into these buildings, or it was women and children first, then they brought in the men that were entered into those buildings first, and then it was the other group that came in later on. And this was, I think, like the late 1800s into the early 1900s that they kept this going. So I actually went here once during the day with my friend Kenzie, and I also went a second time with Kenzie and my friend Riley, and we went at night, early morning. So I'm going to be talking about both occurrences in this video. There was a picture that surfaced of this, and I'll put it in here either side, and I'm sorry. And it was off of a girl's Snapchat story, and it just says Asylum, and there's a figure in the window. It was definitely a really tall male, and he was transparent, so you knew it was a spirit of some type. And I'm a big believer in this stuff, so if you're not, you can feel free to click out of this video by this point if you're not believing it. But this is like literally real stuff, and there's so many experiences I've heard from these buildings, and there's actually underground tunnels throughout this whole area. And I have a really good neighbor, and he's a good family friend of ours. He works for a pest control business, and he's been in those tunnels by himself and for a rat issue, and oh my gosh, he's heard so many whispers, like somebody's talking to themselves. He's heard footsteps. There's actually a really sad story that goes along with those tunnels. They would try and escape from the cottages into the tunnels, and I'm guessing there's some type of door that they found, and they couldn't find their way out, and those were they're really hard to get through. A lot of security guards would get lost as well, and I don't think there's any lights to the tunnel, and if there is, they're not very well lit tunnels. And there's like little security guard huts that you can see like up raised through the ground, that like I try to look through, and all you can see is kind of like water pipes and certain things there, so I think they just kind of use those if they needed to. But people would get lost to the point where like they would hang themselves through like the water pipes and stuff, and it was too late. By the time the security guards found them, they would be hanging there dead. So that's why you hear like frantic footsteps, and people are like whispering, talking to themselves, and you'll look around and nobody is there. So it's very, very creepy that this happens. I have not been in the tunnels because I think those are more patrolled than the buildings actually. Both times I was there was no security that like stopped us and asked us to leave. So they're very nice, but I don't know, maybe there's just, they don't really care now, but they have kicked out a lot of teenagers and people have gotten in trouble for being there. That picture that surfaced Twitter, we were like, oh my gosh, we have to go see it. So my friend Kenzie and I during the day were like, let's go. Like we just felt really spontaneous and adventurous to go and like take a little quick wanderlust into this area. And we just parked by other cars so it didn't look super weird. And we just walked around and I could instantly tell like, it kind of felt like somebody was watching you. Like in every building we like passed, you could definitely feel like somebody's watching you. And I can really tell by these I can just read vibes really well, and it's so weird. It's definitely like, it's not a bad feeling, but you just feel like just uncomfortable. Eventually we just left because I just felt so uncomfortable and she started to feel uncomfortable, so we left, but we just walked around and you could tell that some homeless people they subside in some of the areas. There's like, so each cottage is set up the same way and there's a concrete steps that go up and it says cottage number, whatever. And then you go along the side of the building, there's stairs that go down and there's like an area and there's doors, but the doors don't lead into the cottage, unfortunately. They lead somewhere else, and I think some type of boiler room. So it's not like that leads you directly into the building. 2 days later, June 25th, 2015, it was like 1:30 in the morning and we decided to go and check out these buildings with my friend Riley and Kenzie. So we actually drove around and I was driving myself like with them. It was my turn to drive, so I was like really nervous. I didn't want to get in trouble for it or get some type of ticket. So I was just kind of like driving around like saying like we got lost or something, because it's a roundabout kind of deal. Group of guys that were in between cottage number 2 and 3, and you could just like hear them like yelling at like the windows, and I was just like, what are they doing? So they run over and they're like, you guys need to come out here. It's really crazy. We're hearing some really loud noises. And we went by those guys and we're talking to them, and some of the group of the guys went up and they took a lot of these stairs down by now, but there was a pair of like rusty ladders and stairs to get up to the the roof of the building, and they're on cottage number 2. And they were like climbing and like jumping around and stuff, and they could hear noises. Second or third time that they heard a noise, all of a sudden you just saw all of them run and try and get down those ladders and stairs as quick as they could. It was like, I think like 2 in the morning, so we're there for like 20 to 30 minutes already. This guy is like one guy, he's kind of like the leader I guess of the group, and he was antagonizing this type of entity or whatever that was in this building. And it was the same building that this girl took a picture. So actually this window was broken when we came back, and they said that they didn't do it. They're like, no, we came here and it was broken, like we don't know why. And there's actually alarm systems in each cottage, so there's no way that somebody could break into the building without getting caught. So obviously it was done either earlier that day or the day prior, so it wasn't any of us that did that. And the boys were so scared, they were like not, and you know, they would definitely not lie about it. This kid was like asking questions like, if you don't want us here, make a noise. You'd just like say something and you'd like yell at it, and you'd hear this delayed like big bang against a wall or some type of object being thrown across the room. It was something like that. And also I took pictures during this time, and there's actually a picture of my own, and you can very lightly see a face in the window. Copy break. So it was just like really creepy because you don't expect that like to happen. And I've had my other paranormal experiences that I'll probably do videos on eventually, but this is like nothing that I've experienced before. It didn't feel sinister or anything like that, definitely not, but it was just really creepy. I actually downloaded a video so you guys can tell and hear what we were dealing with that whole night, and we heard it probably 3, 5, maybe as most as like 10 times we heard this noise. And we actually bolted it. We ran so much like back and forth because we would get so scared something was like banging against the wall, and it was like full force. Like I've never heard that before. Like, okay, so they said make a sound that you don't want us in here. All having like conversations because we're like, what the heck is this, what the heck? And you just hear this huge bang and it echoes throughout the building.
Was looking in there and how to
make a sound that you don't want us in here.
Before anything of this happened, nothing happened, and then I went up.
Make a sound that you don't want us in here.
Before anything of this happened, nothing happened, and then I went up.
So that is my story. I want to go back and go into the tunnels, but hopefully you guys like this video. I know it's crazy and there's so much more that happened that night that I'm probably gonna like recollect and like be like, oh my gosh, I forgot to add this in the video. I might do like a blog post on it. You can follow me on my blog down below. It will be linked. It will be MolliLostInMakeup.blogspot.com. I also have my Tumblr, if I can please talk normal today, thank you. So hopefully you guys like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you want to hear more story times or if you have questions about anything, just comment down below because sometimes I'm really bad at explaining things when it comes to like unexplained business, you know. So if you guys like paranormal stories, I have a lot of stories that I can seriously tell you like in depth that happened that I'm really willing to share. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you very much. Thank you for watching.